Did you change your dress?
Gary Levitt is the reason why I attended the first YRS conference in 1975. Test.
Someday we're going to get this right.
We have it right. We have it right. It's right.
It's right.
That's right.
Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Excuse me.
In 1975, we had our first conference. It was entitled Yoga, an Interchange of Experience and Experiment. And the reason why I attended the conference in 1975 was because of Gary Levitt. Gary was teaching classes at the time, and he was promoting the conference, and of course I was convinced. So I attended, and that's what happened to me. I don't know if I should thank you or...
Right, that's the verdict is still out.
Gary Levitt has been vice president of the Sky Foundation since its founding in 1972. He is a graduate of Pennsylvania State University and a marketing consultant and partner in Ahava, a gallery of contemporary Judaica in Florida. And Gary is going to present a video and audio, right?
Among other things.
Program. It's a retrospective of 30 years Sky Foundation in America.
The hat, of course, is for Bud Brainerd. We should all start off with hats.
And you need your glasses?
Probably. We're going to look at a video. It's a work in process, actually. The new technology lets us not only, I'm doing my Elizabeth Dole thing here, not only do something and put it on a DVD and show it to you folks, but change it as we have reason to. It's very flexible and very fluid. We made an attempt really last night to upgrade it and change it and put in a few pictures that we had just got hold of, and timing didn't quite work out. So you're going to see the version that came just before that, which is terrific. And the next time you see this, which may be when you get your own DVD of it, if you like, it'll have more. So if you don't see something that you remember, or you don't see a particularly good shot of yourself in this, it's probably coming. And if it's not, send it to us and we'll do it. But before I do that, you know, it's been 28 years, and I've, along with you, I think the key word here is we all get the teacher we deserve. Linda got me early on. We're very lucky, you know. We obviously deserve the best, and I think we have the best. But I come from a very different culture than Doctor, as you all know. I didn't grow up in India. I grew up in Pittsburgh. My family are among those Ashkenazi Jews, meaning they sojourned through Eastern Europe until they finally got here. And while I wasn't immersed in that culture, I certainly was influenced by it and influenced by its language. And I always find it remarkable as we do these things, how many parallels there are, how many things are similar and sometimes dissimilar, even though they've come from different parts of the world, different cultures, different, what seems like different philosophies, and yet there are parallels. And we've all seen this board for many years, and I wanted to draw some parallels to my cultural background on this board. First of all, I've put up what many of you will recognize as heart chakra. Others will recognize as the Magen David or Shield of David. Many years ago, when I was a new student of doctors, he blew my mind once by noticing what I consider my Jewish star, and said, "You know what that means?" And I said, "Yeah, it means I'm Jewish." He said, "Well, it means that it takes ascending aspirations and descending grace to come together in order for us to achieve the goal." And I thought, wow, that's pretty good coming from this Indian gentleman that didn't know my thing. But of course, he knew it from a different culture. Yiddish, which is the language of the Ashkenazi Jews, the language of the people who sojourned for many, many years, for centuries, through sometimes relatively inhospitable lands. And one of the ways they continued to communicate with each other and within the family was with Yiddish. And Yiddish basically comes down to using Hebrew letters but words from a lot of places, German, a lot of German, but also a lot of other words that came into the language. And I noticed some time ago that, Om, as we've been taught now many, many, many times and are still experiencing, Om is the sum of all sounds that the human can make. Starts with it ends with covers the whole range of sounds, and therefore is the ultimate mantra. And the Om, written in Sanskrit, has a formula that you say three syllables, 3 counts, and then as long as you can. And all of that's very interesting and comes from the original Sanskrit. Now, Hebrew, as many of you know, is written from right to left rather from left to right. And there's also a syllable in Hebrew, a word, a two-letter word. In this case, it doesn't express all the sounds a human can make. It expresses all of the feelings, all of the emotions that a human can feel. It's a 2-letter word that can do that. The first letter in Hebrew is Aleph. Aleph is a wonderful letter. It has no sound. No sound. Silence. Aleph comes before, it's from the void, from nothingness, no thingness. Aleph represents what was before anything, the void. No sound, silence. When you add to Aleph a Yud, very interesting, we were studying in Israel some time ago, and we had the pleasure of having a wonderful scribe. That's one of the people who write the Torah. And it's very, very precise and very demanding. And he used a board like this to show us that every Hebrew letter started, when you write the Torah, started with the Yud. It's the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. And it's the beginning of sound. Y, like R-Y. It's not quite a sound. It's the beginning of sound. It's the beginning of something. No thingness is Aleph. The beginning of something is that first little, that begins all the letters. To do an Aleph even, you'd start with that, and then you do that, and that's your Aleph. Any letter starts with the Yud. So you have Aleph is nothingness. You add the barest suggestion of the beginning of sound with the Yud, and that is the beginning of something. By the way, just to keep this parallel, I drew here an aleph, and by putting a little face on it and connecting the yud, we have what is the essence of all Jewish parents' wishes for their children. If you see this as a stethoscope, so we have this this graphic representation. And by the way, aleph and yud, there's gematria in Hebrew where letters have numbers. I just asked Fred Birnbaum before, because he knows a little bit more than I do. How does it add up? And he said, well, aleph is 1, of course, it's the first letter, and yud is 10, 11. But in this case, Jews can't count to 2. They were the original binary code people. You have nothingness, aleph, and then you have, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one, and 2 is dualism. There ain't no 2. There's only the 1. So you start with either it's off, on, 0 or 1. Now we know from the binary code that you can calculate anything with just that, just the off and on, just the 0 and 1. But if you take the aleph and the yud and you get 11, and you can't add up to 2, you get 1.5. You've taken your aleph, you've taken your yud, and you get 1.5. And it's important because from silence, from nothingness, you can't express anything. And so you add the yud, and you get a word that allows you to express something. And the word, of course, is oi. Now, keep in mind, oi is also, oi has to come from the gut. It's expressing feeling. It's not like the OY in boy. It's not oi. Only a goy would say oi. But goy, by the way, is not a pejorative. It means nation. Other nations. There's Jews, our nation, there's other nations, the Goyim. And someone who's not Jewish, who hasn't grown up with that, oi, could say oi, but it's not quite right. Not quite right. It's gotta come from here. The first known recorded, expression of oi is from the garden story, the Garden of Eden. Adam was in paradise, and everything was perfect, but he was alone. And he was sitting there one day, and, oi, he said. God, hearing this and recognizing the profundity, the profoundness of it, came and said, Adam, what's the matter? Adam said, I'm alone. Everything's fine, but I have no one to share it with. And God said, Adam, I'll tell you what. I'm going to make you a helpmate. And we'll call her woman, and she's going to be beautiful. She's going to comfort you when you're in need. She's going to fulfill your every fantasy. She's going to keep your house nicely, make your food. She's going to raise your children. She's going to make you feel always as if you're a king in your own home. Adam said, now here's a second use of oi, because oi doesn't only express sadness, it also expresses all emotion. Adam said, oi, is that fantastic? That's great. God said, but Adam, there's a price. There's a price. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg. To which Adam said, naturally, "Oi, what can I get for a rib?" You know, the oi is still used. In fact, we're at Jefferson Hospital, and I have it on good authority that as recently as last week, a woman came into the hospital, was brought into the hospital in very bad shape. She had had a heart attack. Mrs. Schwartz from the Northeast had had a heart attack and really passed. But when she got to the next world, God was there to greet her and said, "Oh, Mrs. Schwartz, this is a mistake. You're not due here for another 25 years. She said, "Well, you know," he said, "No problem. Send it back." And that's what we call these out-of-body experiences and things, and near death, etc. She came back, and she was aware. She remembered, I got 25 more years. Now, she's in a hospital, and she was getting on a little bit, and she decided, look, I'm already here. She called her doctor, and she said, "Doctor, while I'm here, and you're taking care of me and everything, I'm going to have to be here for a while. You know, can I get a little touch-up here? You know, a little nip, a little tuck. You know, I've got it on good authority. I've got 25 more years. Why shouldn't I live it up?" And the good doctors, the good folks at Jefferson, got the specialist out, and they fixed her up. And she was sensational. She left, you know, just the other day in a new woman. As she walked out on Walnut Street, car flattened her, killed her. She's back in heaven, and she said, "God, you don't lie. You told me I had 25 more years." He said, "Oi, Gavalt, it's Mrs. Schwartz. I didn't recognize you." So, anyway, oi really is. I've had close friends that have told me, you know, every year as you get a little older, you get more and more like Jackie Mason. And if there's any turnoff in the world, it's Jackie Mason. You know, you're becoming like good. You know, well, okay. Anyway, it's in the genes. So we have had our own experience with OI, with this really wonderful project. I have to tell you that BJ and I have this conference for all of you, I think has been a good one, maybe a wonderful one. I hope it is. For BJ and I, it's been, and for Barbara, and for Ronnie, it's been fabulous because we have since July when we first started talking about it, and for the last several weeks on a very intense basis, have been pouring through the materials and looking at old photographs and old things, and having just a lot of fun doing it. And BJ, who is experienced in these things, said to me at one point, not at one point, he said to me maybe a dozen times, 15 times, 20 times over the process. He was using a lot of new programs, new technologies. Everything you're going to see today was done on a laptop, and you'll find it very interesting. But he kept saying, "Dad, we gotta get this onto DVD just so we know we have something." And I kept saying, "Yeah, we should and everything, but let's do this first. Let's do that first." We were coming up here. Remember, we started in July, not a day too soon, as it turned out. We were coming up here on Friday, Thursday night at 9:30. We were just about done with the first version, ready to put it on DVD, when, for the first time in this whole process, the computer became non-responsive. It froze up and was on its way to crashing. And I have learned, all of us who have worked with BJ and Richard and other techies in the world have learned when those things happen, it's best to just sit quietly, pray if you believe, but not get into the techie's way in any way, shape. I will tell you that my grandson, my oldest grandson, Josh, who's a sweet, caring person, came walking through the living room at that point where we were working, saw the expression on his father's face, and said, "Dad, what's wrong?" And BJ said, "Oh, I'm just getting crap from the computer." And Josh said, "Well, you can use mine, Dad." Now, this was like Isaac Auerbach saying, well, no problem, I have a slide rule, replace your computer. So that was 9:30 on Thursday night. I share this with you because it's a sense of, oi. And I started thinking to myself at that moment, as BJ was staring at the thing and saying, moving thing, nothing was happening. As BJ was doing that, I'm thinking to myself, well, I can talk. If we have to do some dissolves and things, we take 2 pictures. We'll get it. We'll get it. Do the Oprah Winfrey thing. And when did you first come to SKYland? Yeah. We'll do it. Well, about 10 minutes later, BJ had recreated the world with a little bit of data lost, and at 11 o'clock sharp, we were complete, done. My part was done. BJ then proceeded to make the DVD you're about to see. Now, one of the reasons I'm telling you all, and when we saw the DVD finally done, there was boy, this is fabulous, and it is. But it could be better. Everything can be better. And when we came up here on Friday, we started to gather from Doctor, and we went and took some pictures at Garland because we had some areas where we were sort of fudging the graphics on it. And we had some wonderful pictures of some people in this room that we had okay little shots of and everything, but we were able to replace them. And some wonderful pictures of some of the children that were better than the ones that are in there. And we did all of that last night because, we had till 1 o'clock today. And we finished that version at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was the finished version, but it had to be then transferred to a new DVD. And that second DVD, the updated resource, is not available at this point. There was a bug in it. So what you're going to see today is a work in progress. I think you'll enjoy it. I know we enjoyed it. What we will have very shortly is an updated one. And who knows, next year we can change it and keep growing it, put in new things. If you have at home or in your files or in your world wonderful graphic reminiscences that you can share, talk to Barbara about how to do that. A lot of people don't want to let the thing out of their hand, but today with scanning, with email, with all kinds of the most difficult person to get anything, any precious thing from is Doctor. Not easy. He allowed us to take 1 photograph at a time from the farm to Philadelphia, copy it, bring it back, take another one. We used up 3 cars doing it, but we got. But if in watching this you have some, I will tell you, and I'm going to tell you this because I was so looking forward to it happening today and it won't happen. There's a point at which Doctor talks about Garland of Letters, the beginning of Garland of Letters. And it was very personal to me because I was the one he was talking about. You'll hear it when he's talking in here. He said kindly, I took some friends to see the building and we went down into the basement and it was horrible. It was horrible. And my friends said, there's no way. We're not going to get involved with this. This is, and we didn't have any photographs from that time, so we sort of fudged a graphic in. We used a Kathy cartoon, which you'll see up there on the screen, to just cover the sound. Yesterday, BJ and I went over to Garland. We took some outside shots to establish the thing so we could drop it in. And I still didn't know what to do about the discussion of the horrible basement. We went downstairs, and we went into the back. It's still there. We took perfect photographs. It's still horrible. That will be in the finished version. Today you'll see the version here. So I hope you enjoy this. You can't possibly enjoy it more than we have. After you see it, by the way, that's assuming it runs for 30 minutes without breaking down. Otherwise, the practice will be if it breaks down, if the sound goes off, if there's a collapse of the building, we all together say, "Oi!" And we're there. Ready to go. Let's kill the lights and do it. Yeah, no, they don't use the West Virginia law.
They're biscuits now.
Yeah.
From the point of view of philosophy, but scientifically.
By the way, let me thank some people while we're doing this. Philip Davidoff, who doesn't even know that he needs to be thanked because his music was used without permission. Barbara, who's been scanning photographs now nonstop for several months.
Yay, Barbara.
And everybody else that's in the all of us who helped make these 30 years possible. You know, in 1972, Richard Milhouse Nixon was president of the United States. What do we say about that? Oi!
His idea was very clear that a lot of things were covered with mystery. And Swami wanted that if that is the way it will remain, it will be lost. Therefore, it is better that we will understand it, and not only understand it from the point of view of philosophy, but scientifically what it does. And that's why he started in Carolina, philosophical literary research department, then experiment, and then put it to test in the laboratory, and then can be applied into the hospital. And for that purpose, we need people. So he started college, GS College of Yoga. And that was a fascinating arrangement he did. And in addition to that, he has also has a part of ashram, which was a spiritual part, which was accepted. The main part, you have to understand that there are two civilizations. One civilization focus on matter, the other on consciousness. The civilization which focus on matter, we call scientific. Because the system of knowledge which pursues the discovery of the matter, that's only science. And the system of knowledge which pursues the discovery of consciousness is complete. And the whole world is divided into two sections. One, they pursue the matter, the other pursue the physics. And the result is they both are outside. I was Assistant Director of Research in Cavalidan. There I and also teaching mental health, yoga and mental health. I had a dream of Swami Kolan. I saw him in a western dress, which I never saw. I saw one photograph afterwards. I was surprised. And then after a few days, the person shows up, asks me whether I can come. And I said, oh, we'll see. From New Jersey, because one of their teacher was in India, Catherine De Silva. And she asked me whether I can come, And I always, people say sometimes come and they forget after they leave, something like that. But I was surprised when I got the information from Air India that your ticket has arrived and you have to leave from New York. I left on 12th of July, 71. Well, the first impression was a fascinating impression because to me it was the longest flight of my life. I never flew that far. When I arrived in New York, I just read about New York before. But when I came in, I saw everybody was running. How to live in the environment so you will get peace. How to make that environment so it will affect you positively. And what you do to your body so it will be fantastic. And for that, they used postures, they used breathing techniques, they used kriyas, and they are fabulous techniques. There's no question. And the beauty is this, whether you are rich or whether you are poor, technique is available to you once you learn it. At that time, only was Amrit Desai was teaching his classes, and Swami Rama started just after when I came in during the same period. Swami Satchidanand was also there, and Yogi Bhajan was there on the west coast. Swami Rama was in Philadelphia, and we met in also 1971 before. Some world conference was in New Delhi. And he said that if you come to the United States, just let me know. So I just came to Philadelphia to visit him. Because I was giving a program in Philadelphia also, in Somnitown, in Amrit Desai's place. Swami Ram was also connected to Institute for Living, Kurt Konyasko, and he asked me whether I can teach there. Because they have a different type of therapies, and Gestalt, rational, emotive, and all those things. So I said, I can teach yoga because it will be a good place. And that time Swami Rama said, why don't you stay to learn some of the Western techniques of these therapies? And that was Swami connected me with a lot of yoga students, and one was Joy Gore. And also, you came in and asked whether we can start an institute. This is a very interesting part. When I came to the United States, everybody was so enthusiastic, very inspired. Typical when I came in, it was not a lot of me. Now they are all getting old. They were all inspired. Okay. And we had a good time.
Is it true that next year's conference is going to be yoga and social security?
Because it's high. In India, lot of patience. Lot of patience doesn't matter. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. See, here, let us do something. Now, the combination of the two is required for a yoga student. A feeling for doing and also the feeling of patience behind. And also I was teaching in Jefferson Medical College. In Jefferson, I met Barbara because she was attending some social worker class. And she told you people about me, and you all came in Institute for Living. for a living. At that time, you came up and said, you were there, Candy was there, Mother Maggie was there, and some Leslie or some Sharon was there. And you came up and had the idea, we can start our own institution, something like that. And idea came to me, not a bad idea. I started Sky Foundation Day on the Vijayadashmi in 1972, in month of October, the same day Kevalham was founded in 1924.
Look at how many people come to yoga for spiritual upliftment, for birth. How they look nice, how they will be slim, how they will do all those things. That's their goal. So two sides are there. Now, yogic tradition wants to bring these two together because they are dealing with body and the soul in it. Not also discarding the body is not useful. It is a place where you can have experience. If the body is not helping you, you cannot have it.
The scientific community was interested even at that time also, because where I went to California, I taught in some places, I taught in Asana, and also some groups in California. I taught in San Quentin, in Nebraska, in all those places, many places I taught during that period. And all places the response was wonderful. There's no question about that. All the places this is wonderful.
It is not a philosophy, it is a darshan. Through which you understand the realism. It is not the love for wisdom, it is not logic.
When I was teaching the class, we need some books. And for that purpose, we ordered the books of Swami Purananji, we got it. And then we thought that we need more books of a yoga type, and we did not find it easy. So if we can have our own place where we can have it, that is very useful. And that's the way in the 12th Street we started learning. 1981, so we were passing by and we saw one building, handwritten number for sale, and that was 527 South Street. So I asked Candy, can you dial in the van? Note this number. We note that number. We called the person, Mr. Zuckery. And we saw the building. Basement was in a horrible condition. And I took many of my friends, and they saw the horrible condition, and they said, it is not worth touching. There's no question about that part. I will never forget that. But I was not thinking from that angle, from that point of view. I was pretty excited to have some place where we can have some classes and everything there. So we moved there, we bought the building, and Candy was the main person who supported for that. And also Charles Hetfield.
Whatever means you can use it, meditation has to dawn upon you no matter what. And that is the idea behind it. Now, you use your breathing for mindful meditation. You use your eyes for visualizing it, doing it charter. Or you use your ear, hearing the sound, or your sensation from the body. Any sense organ, because whatever avenues you have, with those avenues you can go in. And once you go in, you are in the same room. When you go from this door, from that door, from that door, from that door to that.
Yoga as a society started 74. The reason was that there has to be a platform for people to be feeling not coming to somebody's place where they will be associated with their teacher or an ashram or something like that. Open platform for everybody in the field of yoga.
Yoga is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That's the second one. Yoga is the prevention or control of disorder or disease or modifications of consciousness. That means if you go to a lake and if you want to see your face in the lake, water has to be still. If somebody throws the stool over there, you cannot see your face, it will be broken. And therefore, that calmness has to come.
In 1976, William came to 10 South Francisco as a student. And he was thinking to start something in the countryside. And also Walter Kaufman. He was also a student at that time. So they both came in, searched around all the places, and they found this place. And when I came in, I saw the place. I liked the water part. And it was quiet. So if you want it, the only thing I can do, I can only teach. If you can manage the place and do other things, that's your my responsibility to teach. And that's the way we started SKYland.
It will give you a feeling each time, like a discovery. Have you seen the children when they find a toy? They get so happy to look at it, and they forward somewhere and when they find it, look at it. Have you seen the dogs when they take the bone and they put it in the ground somewhere, and then next day they went there and somehow they find it and they roll over on it and they are so happy? You have everything. See, this is the beautiful part of it. You have everything, you not need from outside. And the only part is some effort to access what you have. This is the right in Sanskrit. Okay? You can try to English. And when these two are combined, A plus stands for Vishnu, the God, which is of conservation. This is for Brahma, and this is for Shiva. In some texts, this is for Brahma, this is for Vishnu, this is for Shiva. And that means, if you look at from the point of the science, that something was not there, it comes, it stays and it goes. Particle comes, it stays in there, and then it goes. So it covers everything. So that's why it became very, very important technique that by reciting this, you can reach that source, and that is the cosmic source.
The main part here is this. When a teacher goes to the class and teaches the class, he teaches first whatever he knows. Then he teaches something he does not know because the student wants it. And therefore he has to search for it and he tries to bring it. And students want something new all the time. And it requires a tremendous guts and courage to maintain the same system and teach it regularly. And that is not the case in this country because they are so enthusiastic. That's the wonderful part of this country. But they have no patience, which is the missing part and which is a prerequisite for human practices. You have to have enthusiasm and also patience.
And there has to be balance between the two. So there has to be balance. They are complementary. Science and religion, science and spirituality, they are complementary. And if that gap is covered, it will be fantastic. And that is the process yoga wants to do.
I definitely know that research has to go, and research is a very important component for the Sky Foundation. In the same style, not only in the philosophical part, but scientific research. And also, I generally believe very strongly that there has to be a way so it can be applied in daily life and in also in medicine. So in alternative medicine, it will come very strongly.
Getting over is not a problem because this is more fun. Because you have a lot of experience with it. But how you use it, that's the important part.
My feeling is like this. Yoga will definitely influence the life of people and also the scientific community, whether they may use the word yoga or not.
again, charming.
cannot understand yourself by logic only. You have your direct perception, and that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Okay? Close your eyes. And those who have to read it, they can read it. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Gunarama Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Ma Kashitu Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti
any cook will tell you that the make.
Vijay has done a beautiful job.
Any cook will tell you that to make a wonderful soup, you start with great ingredients. And the ingredients are fabulous. So we just try not to screw them up.
I didn't see Joshua's picture in it.
Yeah, there's one. There's a lot you didn't see that you'll see the next time you see it.
So, I think it is a very good.
Mom's going to start learning. And she's going to go to next 6 months.
Okay. Now, how much time we have?
Whatever you want.
Okay. How can we appreciate you all people? It's very hard. Yes.
To appreciate us.
You see, what happens, there are many types of appreciation. One you just say with the mouth, it does not go down, only mouth. One goes slightly down to the heart. One is so down that you are practically involved the whole thing in it. And it's very difficult to express. And that is the part. It is very difficult to express it. 30 years. When people come to our conference, after 15 years, after 20 years, when they see the same faces, and people ask me, what is your secret of holding on to these people? One Swami came and he said, why these people are with you? Because in other places you go, they stay for a while, they move on, they go to other place. And he said, my secret is I don't hold to anybody else. I don't hold on to them, they are free. They can go wherever they want to go. Because my teacher did the same thing with me. Go wherever you want to go. Go to see Meher Baba, fine. Neem Karoli Baba, fine. Swami Muktanand, fine. Go wherever you want to go. I went all over, I saw everything. So I felt it like this, that this is my center and other is circumference. I can move around the circumference, I come into the center. And that's the way I feel it. And you people are hanging around me, I don't know whether it's worthwhile for you or not. But at the same time, you people are fantastic. That I can say, and I always believed it in myself that everybody is wonderful. And the wonder is not only because of science, but because of there is something so innate that when we say that we are children of God, and if we mean it, then we are children of God. If we mean it, then we are all one. Is that all drops of water is the same. That's why I say little drops of water, little grains of sand, make the mighty ocean and the pleasant land. So all these drops will make history. All these grains will make history. Okay? And this, I use it to see the lines of the seniors. Now, you will have food now? Okay. Okay. It is so heavy.
I just put this together this morning. So it was
Barbara, you have to be here.
I'll give the name, you give it to me. I will request you to read my book, The Stories Retold, the first story. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying this, you will realize later on. Okay, give me. Francie. It is okay? Yes. It is better? Yes. I have certain things to share with you, and the work is in progress. And therefore, please understand that. Yoga Research Society, Certificate of Recognition, the Board of Directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Francina Chapman for 28 years of continued dedication, outstanding service. Francina says it is a surprise, but to me it was not a surprise. The year I came, she was the first one in Philadelphia I met. Oh. Okay? So. You have to wait for the order, okay? Yoga Research Society, Certificate of Recognition, the Board of Directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Belinda O. Reardon, and of 28 years of continued dedication, hours, and service. Belinda, here. I don't want to shock everybody, okay? Yoga Research Society, Certificate of Recognition, the Board of Directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Margaret Reed for 28 years of continued dedication. I'll take my glasses this time.
And I'll take mine.
Yes.
Oh, put up the screen. Certainly. What is it?
Our screen also chants Om. Yeah. Now. Yoga Research Society, the certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Laurie Khan for 26 years of continued dedication and outstanding service. You see that all those years in Laurie brought it on. Yoga Research Society, certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Marima Sullivan for 28 years of continued dedication and service. Marima was with me everywhere. At Fitzwater, at 527, Fair Hill, and the Chesapeake. Yoga Research Society, certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Faith Basijic for 28 years of continued dedication and service. It was very helpful throughout. Okay. Yoga Research Society, certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Joan Krekhar Sharma for 19 years of continued dedication, outstanding service. Yoga Research Society, certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Jenny Sabato for 19 years of continued dedication, outstanding service. As I told you before, the work is in progress. It will continue. Now, Yoga Research Society, certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of Yoga Research Society honor Pat Deshawn for 12 years of continued dedication, hours, and service. Yoga Research Society, certificate recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Jane Williams for 15 years of continued dedication, hours and service. Jane Williams is not here today, but this will go to her. And somebody right.
Accepting for Jane Williams is Candace Smith.
Okay. Yoga Research Society, certificate recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Linda Gross for 27 years of continued dedication to service. Yoga Research Society, certificate of recognition, the board of directors and members of the Yoga Research Society honor Gershon Levitt for 28 years of continued dedication to service. He always gives me a surprise, and he's getting a surprise. As I said before, the work is in progress. They did not have enough frames. So please wait for 5 years more. We will have frames. It is really fun to do these things. And again, I have to say to you that I really am honored by your presence, by your help. And it is your work.